never talked about this on here before. Ooh, this is a juicy one. I thought this was a good question. Good morning, guys, and welcome to a new vlog / Q&A. It's basically a combination of the two. I wanted to do a Q&A, but I thought we could spice things up a bit, and I can just kind of take you throughout my day today, which I have no idea what we are going to be doing. Really, with a baby, my number one rule is we got to get out of the house at least once. I love, if I can, if possible, to start my day before him. It's not easy, obviously, when you have a baby and he's waking up throughout the night. You're up throughout the night to set that alarm, to get up early for pretty much no reason, right? It's not like, okay, I'm setting an alarm to do this. I'm literally just setting an alarm to sit on my couch and sip my tea and read my book. But it sets my day up so much better just to get like me time first thing in the morning. So I'm hoping he will sleep for, I don't know, about 20 more minutes. Figure we can knock out a question or two right off the bat. Starting with, okay, I thought this was a really good one. Jessica asked, did you know you always wanted kids? And for someone who wasn't giving wannabe mom vibes, how did your heart change? Also, sorry my voice is so raspy. You are the first person I'm speaking to today. It's weird. It's like I grew up always knowing like, yeah, like I want kids. Even on Zach and I's first date, that's something we discussed. I would never want to date or then marry someone who didn't want kids. I always knew I wanted them, but it was more out of like a, I don't know, like not out of like a maternal, like, oh my God, like I'm dying for kids. I grew up the younger sibling. Like I never took care of a baby. I never really had babies in my life at all. So I was kind of just like, yeah, I want kids, but I was never a super maternal person. If someone had a baby, I never was like, hands it over, like never had that at all. For me, the big shifts didn't have to do with babies at all. It's not that I was like, and by the way, now I'm obsessed with babies. Like if you have a baby, watch out. Like I'm like, give it to me. Like I have changed so much. But that was after I had Decker. Before I had Decker, when I knew I was ready to have kids or when I was like, I really, really want this, is honestly when I was just sick of the world revolving around me. I wanted so badly. Like I just had this internal craving to care for others, to like help others. And I've kind of always felt that in a way. And I know that's not as traditional as like the maternal instincts, but you know, I always wanted to be a teacher growing up. I started this YouTube channel because I wanted to teach others. It was teach others how to do makeup, which I just have always, actually, I wanted to start this YouTube channel originally as a grammar channel, a grammar YouTube channel when I was in like 7th grade. I did not, obviously, and I don't think that would have taken off. But yeah, like I've always wanted to help others. And then it was like, honestly, right after we got married, when I, you know, the busyness of the wedding was over, we were settling down, and oh my gosh, like I just wanted that so badly. And obviously, if you want a baby, you don't just wake up one day and say, I want a baby, and then you're pregnant, or at least for most of us. And so what I did is I volunteered. I volunteered for Big Brothers Big Sisters, which if you're going to do a volunteer program, this is one of the best ones to do, but it is a time commitment. It is every single week. You're matched with a little, someone who needs a big sister, mentor, or role model in their life, and you're doing activities with them and talking to them and trying to help them through, you know, life struggles. And I loved it. And like, that was when I was truly ready to have a baby or have kids. I was just like, I would love to be able to do this with like a kid of my own. In my early 20s, I was selfish. Not in a bad way, not in like a crazy, like, oh my gosh, she's so selfish. I was just selfish with my time. I was selfish with my goals. It was all about my career. You know what I mean? Like I just was in a different headspace. And then toward, you know, my later 20s, I just was so ready for it to not be all about myself. J Crown asked, how has your health been since giving birth? And it's been good, but it is a journey. Let me tell you, that is something that I underestimated so much. I don't know. In my head, I'm like, yeah, you give birth and then it's all back to normal, but it's not. It takes so long to build everything back up again. Like returning to the gym. Oh my goodness. I remember I returned and my trainer came out to me and she told me, keep doing the pregnancy modifications. Like you're not ready to go back to normal workouts. And in my head, I was like, what do you mean? Like I was so over the pregnancy modifications. By the end of pregnancy, I felt like it's not that I was barely working out, but it's like you see everyone doing certain things like crazy jumps and this and that. And I'm like, I don't have a belly and I'm going to be like doing like all of these like assisted movements. Like I just felt like no, like, and to be honest, I didn't listen, and I started doing normal stuff right away, and I was not ready. So now I understand and now I get it, but it takes a while. I'm just trying to, I always say, put good things in my body and move. Like, those are my two things. I'm about to hit a workout class at Burn Boot Camp. I have about 20 minutes before I have to leave, but I wanted to talk with you guys about the shoes that I have been wearing for the past, I don't know, few weeks at this point. Maybe it's been like about a month. I have never gotten so many compliments and questions about a pair of shoes I wore to the gym in my life. These are Noble's newest sneakers. They're the Drive Ripstop. I am getting to work with them on this video, and I kid you not, the very first day I wore it to the gym, someone came up to me and asked me which Nobles they were. And I was just completely blanking. I forgot like what the actual name was. And I was like, oh gosh, I don't know. Like, they're new though. They're new. And immediately she was like, are those the Drive Ripstops? It was actually our operations manager at Burn Boot Camp. And I'm like, yeah, actually, like, yeah, they are. These shoes do it all. They are the perfect hybrid shoe for both cardio and strength training, which, as someone who goes to Burn, it's so nice to be able to just have like one pair of shoes that do it all. They have enough cushioning for cardio where you feel like you have that support, but they also have the stability for if you are doing a strength training day. For example, today is actually a strength training day at Burn, and I wasn't sure about these. Like, I didn't know if the hype was real. Like, could a shoe truly do it all? Because I'm very, very, very picky with my shoes. I am prone to injury in both my ankle and my knee. And my shoulder, in case anyone's curious. I'm a wreck, but I just wear and tear throughout the years. And honestly, part of it is not wearing the right shoes all the time. But these are so good for both like the crazy cardio days and just strength days where you obviously just need that stability. Also, I love how lightweight they feel. If a shoe is too bulky for working out, I feel like I just like cannot perform as well, but these are like so lightweight. That's why I'm like, how did they do it? How did they do a shoe that was so lightweight but also had the support that I need? And oh my, they literally fit like a glove. I'm a size 8 and like I got a size 8 obviously, like a glove. And then also one of the great parts is they just look so good. And I'm not gonna lie, that definitely is a factor here. I was between this white color and the most gorgeous pink. I was so close to getting the pink, but I am happy I went with the white just because this obviously goes with more outfits. But they have a really pretty color selection. I want to show you. I love these. And yeah, so for like hit, lateral movements, I feel the support. Even when we do like sprints and running at Burn, I feel good in them. So if you guys are interested, I'm going to have a QR code on the screen and a link below. The code DRIVE50 will get you guys $50 off any order, $125 or more. So you can snag these at a really good price. Like I said, I've been using them for quite a bit now, and I cannot say enough good things about it. Today's workout was not a super sweaty one, which I always used to think it's not a workout unless you're like dying and sweating and all of this. I've totally changed my tune on that because strength days getcha, like they're sneaky. I'm not going to necessarily be like dripping sweat, but they're just as important as cardio days, if not more important, to be honest. But I wanted to get a little random in this Q&A as well. I thought this was a good question. Christina asked, would you want Decker to take the military route like Neil did? For those of you who don't know, my brother was in the Marine Corps for 4 years. He did it like, he did 1 year of college and then went into the Marines. And I want whatever Decker wants. And like, that's a really hard thing as a parent to say. I understand that. And also I think saying that and actually doing it are two different things, because in my head, like, let's be real, I'm like, oh yeah, he's going to go to college. Like, that's just in my head. However, I really, really want to be open to whatever Decker wants. I'd be lying though if I said I wanted that. I don't think many moms necessarily, I mean, I could be wrong, but like, it's a scary thing, right? Like, your little baby going off to very dangerous places. And my mom made it very clear she did not want that for my brother, like very clear. She actually, on the day that he was sworn in, I didn't know this at the time, but she later told me she brought a throw up bag, like a vomit bag, with her because she thought she was going to get sick physically. Like, that's how much she did not want my brother to do it. But like, if someone wants to do something, they're going to do it. And by the way, once my brother, like, you know, swore in, no one was more supportive than my mom. So yeah, I think that's probably the most difficult thing as a parent. Forget the baby stage, forget sleepless nights. I think it's going to be supporting your child when they make decisions that you don't necessarily want them to make, and realizing they're their own human. At that time, my brother was 18 years old, and like, honestly, like, oh, that is what's going to be very difficult. Holly asked, what is one thing that secretly went wrong on your wedding day? I've never talked about this on here before because I know it just sounds so vain, but on my wedding day, I had the world's largest pimple. This was something that popped up, I kid you not, a week and a half to 2 weeks before my wedding. Like, you know, when you can see, like, when you have the pimple of a lifetime. Like I'm not kidding. This is a type of pimple that I seriously get, like, once a year. Like, I just, like, get many pimples a year, but it's just a very specific thing where you see and feel it coming so far out. And I remember that was the case. It was, like, 2 weeks before my wedding, and I was just like, no, like there's no way this is about to be a pimple. Days are going by, it's forming, it's making its presence known slowly but surely, but so slowly that there's nothing you can do because it's not a true pimple yet. And it reached its peak like literally the day before the wedding. There's nothing I could do because I didn't want to risk like popping. Anyway, I'm not going to get too into detail, but I remember I was so embarrassed. This is never what you want anyone to say to you, because then I'm telling myself, no, it's not a big deal. Like, you notice these imperfections on yourself more than anyone else. Like, no one's even going to notice. Well, my makeup artist showed up, and I remember one of the first things she said to me when I sat down was, "What's that?" with like a horrified look on her face. And I'm just like, it's a pimple. And yeah, and then she's like, oh, okay, like, yeah, like I can definitely try to cover it, because it was not, I'm telling you guys, this was not your typical pimple that you could just cover easily. So yeah, like I said, I've never talked about this on here because it's so vain. It's just like, all right, it's a pimple, get over yourself. But if there's one day you don't want that, it's your wedding day. Jason asked, how are you handling motherhood and weekly vlogging? Honestly, when it comes to wanting to work but wanting to spend time with your baby, like, there could not be a more perfect job. Like, the fact that I get to be with Decker all the time, but obviously I'm working and spending time with my baby. Like, it's not to say it's not challenging. Like, it's hard on here. I try to strike a balance between not complaining, but also not just being like, life is perfect. It's really hard on here to strike that balance, because I understand, like, it's like, all right, chill. Like, I'm so blessed, and I truly do feel that way. But like, yeah, it's not always the easiest. And most of the time, you know, Decker, like, he's there. Like, even if I don't like refer to him or like say he's there, like, he's here. Like, I am with him most of the time, and we try to make it work. Sometimes I pick up the camera and it's just not working. Like, it's just, and you know, I just have to try again another time. And honestly, when I totally cut back and stopped doing any Wednesday videos, it was because like it just wasn't working. It's like every day is so different, and it's like hard to know if I'm going to have the time to edit. It's hard to know, like, if I'm going to get these pockets of time. Is he going to nap? Can I take the laptop into the car if he falls asleep in the car? Like, all of these things. So it definitely has its challenges, but I feel like we really have found our groove. In the beginning, it was a lot harder. Oh my God, especially like when I was exclusively pumping, and it was so much harder in the beginning. Like anything, like, you know, when you're finding your schedule and your routine with anything, it's going to come with like challenges and adjustments. And now it's like, I can't imagine him not being back there. Like, I can't imagine not doing all of this with him. I was about to start making lunch when I noticed I only have 2 tomatoes left, so we're gonna go out to the garden and pick them. Decker is currently in an Asher mood. Like, he just gets into these moods where Asher is just like the best thing he's ever seen in his life. He's kicking his legs. We have acquired the goods. Ooh, this is a juicy one. If you could change one thing about Zach's style of parenting, what would it be? Honestly, and obviously we've only ever done the baby stage so far, but for the baby stage at least, nothing. We are seriously so on the same page with everything, and I'm so grateful for that, because like, as much as you can talk about it with someone, like, you never know until you have the baby. And especially in like those harder moments, it's almost like moving in with someone. Like, you don't know till you know. You could say everything looks great on paper, like, I'm neat, you're neat, I like this, you like that, but until like you're like meshing and living together, like, you truly don't know. And I have really, really been grateful, especially just, I don't know, I was worried in the sense that I think sometimes, and this is just stereotyping, but between men and women, like, men can just be a little less, like, sensitive, and I don't know, like, especially, like, with Decker crying at night, and, like, would Zach just be like, we have to do the cry it out method? I know we probably will have times where we have conflicting views on, should Decker be punished for this? What about the punishment? Like, was it enough? Like, there are going to be things. I think it's important to go into this not like, oh my gosh, like, we're just always on the same page. It's impossible. But I just think it helps if you can just like keep that keep that open line of communication open. I also am grateful. I feel like Zach definitely has let me like take the lead on a lot of research I've done. Like I love reading, so I've read a lot of books, and like there are just a lot of things where I tell Zach like, hey, this is what I've read, this is what I think we should do, and he's just always on board, which once again, I'm so grateful for. On the topic of Zach, biggest change in your and Zach's relationship since having Decker, I should ask Zach this later to see what he thinks. For me, I think the biggest change is dividing and conquering. Like we used to do everything together. Like just, I mean, not everything. Like we were like weird, but like obviously just enjoy spending time together. But with a baby, it can really help to divide and conquer because then you at least get a breather, you get a break. If we were both with Decker all the time, we're never getting a break, if that makes sense. Obviously, we love doing the three of us. We do plenty of things, the three of us, but also it's nice to be like, hey, I got Decker, you go to the gym, like that type of thing. All right, so today's outing is going to be slightly modified, which is fine. I thought we were gonna go thrift shopping, but Decker is currently passed out in the back. We're here, I feel like waiting here is just like, there's no point. He's gonna be hopefully asleep for at least another hour. So I think the new game plan is going to be, I'm gonna run home, grab my laptop, knock out some work in the car, and then we're going to modify the outing to go to my parents' house. Decker hasn't seen them in a couple of days, so they probably are having some withdrawals right now, but figured I could actually knock out a question or two before I do that. Okay, this is actually a good one. Caitlin asked, what's something you thought would be really hard as a mom, but turned out not to be? I thought leaving my house with my baby was going to be the hardest thing in the world. Once I had him, and once I had this newborn in my arms who was just constantly needing either like milk or just, you know, it's very demanding when they're so little. I was like, well, I'm never going to be able to leave the house again. And then even when I started trying to leave the house, it was so hard. Getting out the door, I was like, I'm never going to be on time again in my life. I can confirm, oh gosh, it's just everything is so much easier now. And by the way, I know, please don't comment below, like just wait until they're a toddler. I understand that it's a lot harder when they're toddlers, but the baby phase, when they're just babies, so easy. Oh my gosh, especially if you have someone like Decker who just loves napping in the car. Even when he's not napping, he just likes looking out the window. Not to mention, it is everything. Like it makes our days so much more fun, just that adventure, and it's just so much better. Hang in there if you are in the newborn phase or you feel like, oh my gosh, this is not going to get any easier. And also don't panic if, I mean, for example, Decker at first didn't love the car. I remember there were a couple of times I got him in there and he was just screaming bloody murder. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'd pull over. I mean, there was this one time, oh, should I even admit that? I mean, it's not that bad, but you know, it's obviously like winter or going into winter. He has a little hat on and he starts crying a lot, like 3 minutes into the drive, and I'm driving, so I don't want to look in the little like camera thing I have back there. Just like, oh buddy, hang in there. Finally I get to a red light. The hat was down over his eyes. It slipped. Needless to say, I have never, like, I just lunged over that back seat to grab that hat. But it's just the funny things that happen in the beginning, and I'm grateful it is so much easier now.
In the world, there's no way.
I'm doing a Q&A vlog, and one of the number one questions is how you guys are adjusting to life in the Midwest.
Don't you think I've adjusted much better than you ever would have thought? I mean, I've just felt at home.
Clancy, I'm sure your subscribers are going to be tuning in to hear what I
This is
have
the
to
right
say.
word now.
All right, I figured we could pose the questions to Zach that were posed to me. Number one, I guess I'll ask it in the other way. So, do you think that there have been any parenting style differences between us, or anything you wish I would be slightly different with?
I think that'll come more later, like when he's actually a human and we have to figure out how do we discipline him, how like do you get him to do his homework, when he's talking back.
Decker's never gonna talk back to his mom.
How do you do, yeah, so no, I mean right now, no, I mean we're just trying to keep a baby alive, and so it's one day at a time, so no, I would not say I would change anything you've been doing.
What do you think has changed the most in our relationship since having Decker?
We obviously have to like communicate differently with, I don't know, like chores, like not chores, like who does what with Decker, who does this, who does that, or just chores, who's putting the dishes away, trying to figure out our day-to-day. That's changed a little bit. Probably don't get as much one-on-one time, which obviously you have to get adjusted to. So just trying to figure out how we can better keep our one-on-one relationship as strong during dealing with one knucklehead and one beautiful little boy.
Zach is putting Decker to bed right now, and I figured we could continue chatting while I do my least favorite activity in the world. I got a lot of questions asking for an update on my breastfeeding journey, and it's going great. I switched to 90% exclusively nursing. We do a pumped and formula bottle before bed, so like half formula, half pump milk. I do occasionally still pump, like, I don't know, like if I just have a lot of work to do or something, or my mom's watching Decker, I will pump. Most of the time though, I just prefer to go over there and nurse him. It's just so much better than pumping. And breastfeeding is one of those things that I'm so glad so many of you messaged me when I was talking about struggling in the beginning, because in the beginning, in order to maintain a breastfeeding journey, it is time consuming. At least for me, everyone's experience is different. I didn't want to introduce a bottle for a while just so that he continued nursing and not like, preferring the bottle. So I was the only one that could feed him for quite some time. And not only that, he was cluster feeding hours and hours and hours a day. It was a lot. But so many of you messaged me telling me to get through that time, because eventually it just becomes so much easier, and it becomes easier than even doing bottles and formula, just because I don't have to worry about washing a bunch of bottles, and his milk source is like just portable. It's like on me. It's the best thing ever. So yeah, breastfeeding, I never ever thought I would say this. There was a while where I hated it. I resented it. I knew I wanted to do it. I just personally wanted to, but I despised it with all of my being. And gosh, I thought I was going to give it up completely at 6 months. I just couldn't do it anymore. The whole pumping routine, I felt like trapped in my house. And now breastfeeding is honestly going to be something that's hard for me to give up when I do give it up. Do your in-laws get to see Decker much, or do they just prefer not to be filmed? They're here literally every single weekend. They live in Dayton, so about an hour away. And they're like the best grandparents ever. Like Decker is so lucky for both sets of his grandparents. Like they're just all obsessed with him. So they've been here every single weekend. Zach and I really need to get better about making the trip up to Dayton. It's just hard with his off days since he's not off during the week, or he's not off on weekends, and his mom works. But yeah, Zach's parents see Decker every single week, like any chance they have really. And no, it's not that they prefer not to be filmed or anything like that. Zach's mom actually used to be a TV news reporter, TV news anchor. I think at one point she was even doing weather. But yeah, she was in the TV news industry. I've just never, it's really nice for me to have a piece of my life where I'm not vlogging, where I'm not filming, where I'm not thinking about content. For my own family, I've been putting them in vlogs since I was in high school. So that is not ruined, but my family, you guys know them already. But yeah, I've just never, I don't know, I like keeping parts of my life, not sacred. I don't mean sacred, but I don't know, just a little more private where I'm not worried about content. But Zach's parents are the best, and the goal is for them to one day move down here. Hopefully in the future. That's my grand plan. My plan has always been get both sets of parents here. That is my dream. So who knows, maybe one day in the future. Zach, someone asked for you, how did you know that I was the one?
Because you can create babies like that. What was the question?
How did you know I was the one?
Babies. What a loaded question. I mean, there's people always say you can either instantly know whatever. I felt like our first date was really, really good, but I don't know if I left. And I'm not saying this in a rude way. I'm marrying that person for good, for sure. But we've never had we've had plenty of fights. Don't get me wrong. But there was never a time where I was ever thinking I couldn't end up with this person. It would just get built, and it was just yeah. I mean, I've always felt like I've been lucky. Even back when we were dating, I felt lucky to be dating you. Felt lucky to be engaged to you. I don't know. You're smart. You're nice. You work hard. We've been able to build a life together. So I mean, it's not just one thing. It's you have to I mean, obviously, it's people check all the boxes. I mean, you're obviously very pretty, but that's not why you just marry somebody. You are obviously very nice. It's not why, again, you don't just marry a nice person. It was just a lot of different, it was many things, not just one.
No one asked it, by the way.
That's not shocking.
I just needed a little pick me up.
There you go. Are you picked up?
Yeah. This one.
He's do me now.
Do me next. Do me next.
Why do you guys love me?
Why'd you pick me? I just did my last pump of the day, my only pump of the day. I basically just pump once before bed, and I figured we can answer one more question. 2 months pregnant, more scared of postpartum than labor. I'm a news in help. Okay, actually I'm blurring where she's from because 2 months pregnant. I'm guessing she has not announced to anyone yet, and I definitely do not want to out her pregnancy before she announces, but trust me, I get it. I was the same way. I was like, oh my gosh, like what is postpartum going to be? But I'm telling you, all that's going to matter is that you have your little baby. Don't get me wrong, it's hard. It's not necessarily easy, but I never was like, what have we gotten ourselves into? Like, we can't do this. Oh my gosh, like never, because you just love your baby so much and you're like, we got this. I'm going to do anything for him. So I think you just need to like trust the process. And also the biggest thing is don't be afraid to lean on others for support. I make things so much more difficult for myself. Like I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, how am I going to do it all? But I also don't accept help. And it's like, you accept help. And it also helps to remember like no one has magical powers. Like we all figure it out together and you just do. Like you just figure it out on the fly, and no matter what, as long as you have a little baby, like it's all gonna be okay. Obviously, I've never worked in the news industry while having a baby, so that is an added thing, but so many people do, and they make it work, and you 100% will too. And get ready, because this is about to be the best thing of your entire life. Truly, 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 nothing compares. It is, yeah, the best thing in the entire world. Anyway, I am going to end off this little Q&A here. Let me know if you guys liked this style, something a little different than just your average Q&A. This is the pump bottle that Zach will give him for his first night waking. He wakes 1 to 2 times a night still. We're not there yet for the full sleeping through the night, and that's okay. Everyone's journey looks a little bit different. So anyway, I'm gonna go. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.